When people imagine earning more money, they often picture a natural shift into financial comfort. Yet in practice, higher income rarely translates into higher savings. And the reason is not mathematical, but psychological, rooted in how humans adapt to changing income levels and silently recalibrate what feels normal in their daily lives. As income increases, the mind does not treat extra money as surplus in a structured way. Instead, it gradually expands the definition of necessity, and what once felt like luxury begins to feel ordinary, whether it is a better apartment, more frequent food delivery, upgraded devices, or increased social spending. And over time, these adjustments form a pattern known as lifestyle inflation, where spending rises almost in parallel with earnings. This process is not usually a conscious decision. It happens through repeated exposure and small justifications, such as, "I can afford it now," or "this is just a small upgrade." And each decision feels reasonable in isolation, but collectively they reshape an entire financial baseline, meaning that even significant salary increases can disappear into improved consumption rather than accumulated savings. From a behavioral economics perspective, this is driven by hedonic adaptation, the tendency for humans to return to a stable level of satisfaction regardless of positive changes in circumstances. So when income increases, the emotional satisfaction from new purchases is temporary, and the mind quickly resets, encouraging further spending to recreate that sense of improvement. At the same time, social comparison plays a powerful role because individuals often measure financial success not in absolute terms, but relative to their environment. So as peers begin to earn and spend more, there is a subtle pressure to match visible standards of living, which further accelerates spending behavior without a proportional increase in long-term wealth accumulation. Mathematically, this creates a widening gap between income growth and asset growth, where income becomes a flowing variable absorbed by consumption, while savings remain stagnant or grow at a much slower rate. And over time, this divergence determines financial resilience more than income level itself. Even small recurring decisions, such as upgrading subscriptions, choosing convenience over cost efficiency, or increasing discretionary purchases, compound silently. And because they are distributed across many categories, they rarely trigger concern individually. Yet together they form a structural shift in cash flow that limits capital formation. The key insight is not that spending is inherently negative, but that unexamined spending growth often becomes automatic, and without intentional boundaries. Increased earnings function more as a signal to upgrade lifestyle than to strengthen financial positioning. When viewed over long time horizons, the critical variable is not how much a person earns at peak moments, but how much of that earnings growth is consistently converted into stored value. Because savings represent delayed options, and options determine financial flexibility in uncertain conditions. Understanding this dynamic reframes income increases from being purely an opportunity for consumption into an opportunity for allocation, where each increase in earnings is a decision point between reinforcing short-term comfort and building long-term stability. In the end, the psychology of spending reveals a simple but often overlooked reality. Financial progress is less about earning more and more about ensuring that earning more does not silently become an excuse to spend more. Because without deliberate control, income growth and wealth growth can easily become two completely different paths.